And it has been a point since the beginning that there's no room for dialogue. It is clearly understood what we need done, and we can't retrogress to that position where we're like, okay, let us discuss. There's nothing to discuss. As soon as Rex lost his life, the chapter of people sitting down and discussing was closed. So if Ruto were to continue staying in his position, I think it is prudent that he does exactly what the youth are demanding. All the CSs and all the members of parliament and all the leaders who have backlog of cases, they are known to be corrupt. They should be investigated and held accountable. All the rogue police, the killer cops, they should be arrested, removed from the service, and they should be charged and taken to court and punished. Like another thing, if you think about it, if Ruto was to do what we expect him to do, he will also go back, look at himself and all the cases that he has trailing behind him and resign.
So he is leading his people with, cases.
Yes. So, to be honest, as I sit here as Shakira, I don't feel there would be a more effective solution than President Ruto resigning, and for a functional IEBC to be put in place so that the country can go into election, like from the president's level all the way down to members of parliament and all the levels, because most of them, they have failed. So we just give a chance to new people to come forth, step forth and say, I'm willing to represent and serve the people in this manner. 60 days elections campaigns to be conducted, and young people to be allowed to register for voting, the voters cards and the IDs to be free, because ideally, why are you paying to get an ID? IBC to only allow approved and people who are qualify to be in these positions to vie for these positions. So until we are at that point, whether it is this year or until 2027,
no dialogue.
There is no dialogue.
And we shall still keep protesting.
Hapo kwa protest, to be honest, I really feel bad the losses that we incur during the protests. I can't say 100% no protest, and I can't say 100% yes, let's keep pushing forward with the protests at this time. Yeah.
All right. So you've talked about the president resigning, and let's have a new election. And I mean, when the movement started, it was all about the heavy taxation, finance bill. It was all money related. Yeah. And when we talk about elections, that means that there's a whole new budget for that, and it's gonna cost Kenyan taxpayers some money. And some people are of the opinion that mbona sasa tujirudishe mahali penye we are spending more money, yet we can give him some time. Back at 2027, we see what he does. What's your take on that?
He has had time to second year right now, and the amount of money being lost through corruption, like backdoor corruption as well as budgeted corruption, I don't think if we wait until 2027, it will equate to the amount of money that Kenyans are going to spend on re-electing a new government to place. So even the other day, the spokesman was saying that, 9 billion has been lost because of the protests. But how much do we lose from corruption? It's almost 2 billion every day. So 9 billion, 2 billion every day, you can't compare.
The math is not mathing.
Exactly, the math is not mathing. So yes, we're going to incur some expenses. It's an expense to conduct a free and fair election, but compared to what the country would lose if these same politicians will stay in place and continue laundering our money in the same manner, I don't think you can compare. Yeah.
All right. So moving on, from the political scene kidogo, the country has been dealing with so many losses of the women who were found at Mkuru kwa Jenga. I don't know, when you saw that story, even being as a woman, how did it make you feel?
It was very heartbreaking, to be honest, and the manner in which these people were disposed of, in sacks and tied with ropes. You try and question yourself, what kind of person, what would push somebody to this level, and the fact that majority of them were women. And then you remember during on 25th, there was a time the internet connection had gone completely down, and once the internet came back up, there was reports that about the Githurai massacre and a bunch of women that had gone missing. So you start questioning, are these Are these the women who lost their life on that day? And why did it have to happen this way? And the fact that the dumping site is so close to the police station and they did not do anything. And the fact that even when the bodies were being recovered, it wasn't anybody within the government that was doing this work. It was the young people of the slums who are working. They were risking their lives, and the only protection they had was gloves. They were reaching out with sticks and they're going with their own bodies to try and retrieve these people. So it was really sad, quite heartbreaking, and I can't even imagine now the people the family members of these people, what they're actually experiencing. And then the fact that the police thought it would be okay to come up with this weird story about a serial killer vampire and present it to the people like they thought we'd just take it lying down and accept it and move on. And they didn't even put any effort to, like, movies are done with better budgeting and better planning. It's as if somebody woke up and they were like, if we actually do this, Wakenya ni wajinga watakubali, and that's not true. So it's the way the bodies were found and the way the government responded. And until now, Ruto himself, I don't think he has made a comment in the regards of the people who were found in that dumping site. And he's busy opening bus stations and boreholes and other things. It's like, what is this guy?
Do we have, our priorities mixed up?
Yeah, it's very sad. It's quite heartbreaking, to be honest. And I just wish we hadn't even reached to the point where people had to be killed and dumped in such a manner. And the fact that even the acting IG, when he came to office, the first thing he thought he should do is ban protests within the CBD, instead of looking at killer cops and trying to investigate how did these bodies land here and what happened to these people. Yeah, so it's a sad state.